I think the most confusing exchange I ever had in learning Smalltalk is asking the simple question, what do these two buttons, instance and class, do on the browser window? We can see here in Socket that there are instance variable names and class variable names. The class side has methods, the instance side has methods. The question mark is just for the class comment to bring it up because it's there at the bottom of the pane. This is a hard question to answer if you're not sure exactly what an instance is or what a class is, so I recommend two other movies, Class Names and In an Instance. If you're unsure about the difference between the two, those two movies are a good place to start. The simplest thing to say is that a class is a template and an instance is what gets produced from that template. Sort of like a class is a recipe and an instance is a muffin. But the problem is usually people get very caught up in the metaphors and things get kind of confusing and vague really quickly. So what I'm going to do is just describe 4 criteria of difference and just leave it at that. The first criteria is that there's only one class. There can be lots and lots of instances. The second is that the class is easy to find because it's a global variable. If you have a lattice of connected instances in object memory, that they're not as easy to contact or control as a class, which is just identified by a global. The class is indestructible and never gets consumed by the garbage collector, whereas instances do. I mean, an instance is a piece of memory which combines the template of the class with specific data, actual data. Instances can have access to class methods and their own instance methods. Classes only have access to their class methods. And often people will store data on the class side in a class side variable because it's easy to find, again, because of these global variables. If you have an interconnected group of instances in object memory, sometimes it's hard to reconnect, control, or maybe I should say you just need better planning. At any rate, those are a few criteria to differentiate between the two, and really this is sort of the linchpin of how Smalltalk works. When you get this, pretty much everything else will fall into place.